Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to talk about my experience so far with selling on eBay. So I want to preface this video. I recently started selling on eBay about a month ago. I've made about $1,200 in sales, but then again, you have to consider the fees that eBay charges you. So let's get into the video. Pretty much, long story short, I'm going to be moving to New Jersey with my girlfriends towards the end of June, early July. And I have a lot of stuff that I've wanted to sell that's kind of just been sitting. Now, originally, I had posted a lot of things on Facebook Marketplace, but I don't really like Facebook Marketplace for several reasons. One is many people typically don't actually show up. Number two, there's a lot of scammers on Facebook. And three, it honestly is not as good of a service as eBay is, in the sense that if there are issues, eBay does a way better job of handling those problems. So what have I sold on eBay? So a lot of what I've sold have been things like action figures, Pokemon cards, things that I really just have not even like taken out of my basement since I moved here. And what I've realized is that a lot of it actually had pretty high value, which I didn't even know about. So there were some figures that I've had that are like $200+, 300, things that have just gone up in price since when I bought them. So when you sell on eBay, you have to take a bunch of photos. Essentially, you want to be very specific, and that's going to be one of my main points with selling on eBay, is how specific you need to be when you list something. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. I sold a Pokemon card. It was a Charizard Celebrations card for way below market. It was like mint. And I took a bunch of photos, the corners, the whole thing. Someone buys it, I send it out, and I get a message that they want to return it. They zoomed in like 100 times, and there was one tiny little white dot, and they wanted a full refund. Now, I didn't want to do that because, one, that's ridiculous for how small the white dot is. I made it very clear that there were no returns unless the thing was not as described. So technically, is he right? I don't know. I mean, I never have ever done that, considering the card was way below market price. If it was me, I probably would have just kept the card. But he wanted a refund, so instead I had him return it. So currently the card is being returned, and he will get a refund through there. So it helps the buyer, it helps the seller. You can just, have a way to actually figure it out. Whereas if you try to sell on Facebook, it's going to be a big issue. So how does shipping come into play? So you can offer free shipping, or you can typically do where the buyer pays shipping. I personally think it's better as a seller to have the buyer pay shipping. I think it's way easier. They pay for the label, you print the label, you bring it to USPS, and then there you go. You don't need to pay for the box, the whole thing. It's just way easier. So shipping typically is very easy in terms of what I've found. USPS does just a really easy job. Once they have it, they scan it, they can take it, and it will start tracking where the package goes. Now, for me personally, being someone who has bought things in the past, shipping boxes matter to me and how well they're taped up, just if they're packaged. So I really try to take into account when I'm shipping something out, really taping it, making sure that the package does a good job. The other thing that I did want to mention is, if you are a seller, it's really important to communicate the process with the person who's buying it. So I really like to just try to make that little connection, let them know that, I'm taking photos. So I take photos of what the box looks like when it's inside. I let them know that I dropped it off, that whole kind of thing. I think it lets the buyer know that you care, and that, the package that you're sending to them, you're not just some random person who's just going to throw a box and then, the box is damaged. You're putting care into it. So $1,200. Okay, so let's get into the money, the stuff that people really want to know. Okay, so I've sold about $1,200 worth on eBay, And in terms of how much I've actually earned from that, it's probably been around like 900 something. So you have to understand that eBay has fees, which I understand. I think it would be unfair to just think that a service would allow you to list your thing, have someone buy it through their service, and then still provide all these other services for a seller or a buyer without charging them money to list those products or to sell them. I think eBay, it's kind of fair. Now, my kind of rule of thumb is I don't like to sell things that are less than like $30 because then it's like you're gonna have to send it out, and then you're gonna be essentially charged a certain fee. So it's like if you're selling in mass quantities, I understand, but someone who's just trying to get rid of like stuff in their house doesn't really make sense. But I personally think eBay is probably one of the better, I don't want to say reselling places, but I do think eBay is definitely up there. I've never tried Amazon reselling. I've made an account for Amazon as a seller, but I never ended up actually selling stuff on there. Um, Now, I've thought about going to like a store, like a thrift store, and trying to find something that I can buy for, low and then selling it for the high. But I currently haven't really done much of that. A lot of the stuff that I'm selling again is just stuff that has been sitting and, I can make money and help towards the move or whatever it may be. At least it's going to someone who actually maybe will enjoy it more and see it more and not have it be in their basement for a super long time. Um, Now, when I have kind of been listing things on eBay, this is something that I also want to add. You really want to like do your research in terms of what people are paying, and the way to do that is eBay has a filter that you can see last sold on certain items. And what I'd recommend is if you want your thing to be sold quickly, you obviously want to go below market of what people are, doing. So my scenario, I'm trying to sell things quicker than the average person. So my prices are going to be a lot lower than other people. So just keep in mind that, you may want like top dollar for whatever your thing is, but that doesn't mean that people are going to pay that price for what it is. Like that makes me think of Pokemon cards. It's like you could pull a card and say that it's worth $300, but does that mean that someone is actually going to pay 300? No, it doesn't. So I highly recommend if you have anything that you want to sell online, use eBay. It's super easy to create an account. Just, really take your time taking quality photos, be very descriptive. I would definitely have the buyer pay for shipping. And yeah, I actually really enjoy selling stuff on eBay. I like the process of like someone buying it, the communication, the packaging, shipping it out. It's actually really fun. So yeah, who knows? Maybe someday I will start my own company and selling stuff out. We'll see. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Bye.